All right, guys, here we go. Welcome in. It's another edition of the Joe Raineri Show brought to you by uwager.eu. It is where America bets. It's sure as hell where this show bets, and I hope, I'm hoping that you guys are at the very least looking at it so you can do a little bit of line shopping, especially with baseball season upon us. If you guys haven't figured out the difference between laying 175 and laying 150, yeah, we probably got to have a little conversation here. But the reality is one of the most important parts about being profitable this time of year moving forward, understand that you are betting numbers. You are not betting teams. I don't give a rip if it's Wichita State, Lipscomb, Babscomb. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference. It's the numbers that you guys should be interested in. And how do you get the numbers? Well, you get the number. You get the right number, and you do that by shopping. And it's not a matter of can't. It's just a matter if you won't at this point. If you have a local book, fantastic. But you do need a reliable offshore book that you guys can count on, which is why we have been telling you about our friends at YAHOO. It's who we use. It's who we trust, which is why they are setting you up right now. It's not too late. Get your 100% sign-up bonus right now at YAHOO, and it is so simple. As a matter of fact, they're standing by right now. All you got to do is call 1-800-YAHOO. That's 1-800-YAHOO. Give them the code JRS50, and you know what? Scratch out that 50%. Don't worry about it. They're going to give you 100% deposit match bonus. That's right, 100%. You put in 100, you'll get 100. You put in 50, you'll get 50. Guys, it's that simple. You don't have to fund it with $1 million, all right? All you have to do is fund it just enough so when you can now shop the lines and you look at their markets and you go, oh, damn, I'm getting 120. I'm getting minus 120 here and not 145. That's what it is all about, giving yourself the opportunity to get the right number, but you got to have options, which means you need an offshore book you can count on. And, guys, I am telling you, ease of transactions, being able to put money in, pull money out, customer service, and, oh, yeah, the pricing has been absolutely phenomenal all year long. And you want to talk about competitive. When the books are competitive, guys, we win. And they are some of the most competitive lines that you will see on the market right now. Do yourself a favor. Call them up. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They're waiting for you right now. Give them the code JRS50. Joe Raineri Show 50, JRS 50, and they'll double it. They'll put in a 100% deposit match bonus for you right now at 1-800 YOUWAGER. That's 1-800-YOUWAGER. Guys, do it, please. I hate to remind you, but listen, I can't tell you how many guys we have talked to here where they're bent out of shape because, especially this time of year, every half point matters. Sharps understand every half point matters. And when you're talking about some of the games tonight, like in the NIT, where they're pick'ems, they're bouncing back and forth between, they're really pick'ems. -1, pick'em, +1. Every half a point matters. So that is why it is so vitally important that you guys line shop this time of year, every day of the year, but really this time of year, so important. Give yourself an opportunity to be able to cash out with YOUWAGER, 1-800-YOUWAGER. Give them the code JRS50. All right, loaded once again here. We've got Ralph Michaels, WagerTalk.com. Our good buddy Ralph Michaels been here all college basketball season, as well as the NFL and college football. As we wind down both of those sports, hard to believe that college football is just around the corner, but Ralph has been nothing short of amazing. He is going to join us here one last time as we take a preview of not only the Final Four. We'll get who Ralph likes here for a national champion. Is there a clear-cut favorite? Plus, a lot of games here tonight, right, to play. We've got the NIT, the CIT, the CBI, all taking place tonight. Games happening tonight and tomorrow, and Ralph's going to give us a few plays, a few selections, who he likes, where he's leaning. It is time to make some money here, guys. That's what it's all about. Plus, you'll hear from our friends at TrendyBets.com, of course, NBA, Major League Baseball player, and, of course, a college play tonight on a game they've got circled and they like. I'm kind of stuck between the rock and the hard place here, guys, because I don't know what to do. I'll ask Ralph about it. But I've got a couple of underdogs from over the weekend that I keyed on and put together a couple of 14 parlays that, of course, were ending with TCU tonight. And TCU taking on Texas for the third time. TCU has taken care of business twice already this year against them. They find it now. Neutral court, Madison Square Garden. Here we go, semifinal, NIT, and I've got TCU laying 1 against Texas in both of those parlays that I got rolling tonight. It's the last leg of a 4-teamer and 2 4-teamers. You put them both together, we're looking at about 34-1. So the question is, do I hedge it at 34-1? Do I hedge the bet? Do I go ahead and put a little something down on Texas here? I think it's up to now 2 points, Texas. Do I buy an extra point? Maybe, and see if I can't middle this and try to win them both. And if you guys don't know what that means is, listen, if I got -1 on TCU right now, right, and if I go ahead and, let's say, buy it at +3 for Texas and TCU wins by 2, I win both bets. And that's kind of what middling is all about, is putting yourself in a position to be able to cash both sides of the ticket. So that's a possibility. Do I say to hell with it, just let it ride and let the chips fall where they may, which wouldn't be the first time that we've done something along those lines. But would certainly love to hear from you guys here today. Hit us up in the chat rooms. You can call us here on the show. You guys know the number, right? 855-983-2255. The number is down there below, 855-983-2255. What do you guys think we should do tonight as we're staring at a 34-1 parlay with TCU laying 1 tonight? Do we hedge it? Do we try to middle it? What would your advice be? Would certainly appreciate your thoughts here, guys. 855-983-2255. Also, going to hear about our good friend, of course, Jay, the Sports Keg CEO, at it again tonight with his Kegcast. We'll tell you all about that. Trendy bets, and want to remind you guys, too, if you haven't done so already, make sure you are downloading the Fantasy Sports Radio app. Take us with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The Fantasy Sports Radio app from 6A to 12P. We've got you covered. Everything you need to know from the overnight sports world, sports headlines, sports betting, everything you need to know about being profitable in the world of sports. We've got you covered on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network. Seen on cable companies around the country, heard on radio stations around the country, and, of course, just as simple as you downloading the free app on your phone, and you can hear not just from me and Dane Martinez, 6 to 9 Eastern time every morning as we help you make it rain, but also me and Gabe Morency got you the morning after from 9 to 12 p, and then the lineup of fantasy experts. Guys, DFS, if you want to make some money this year playing daily fantasy, baseball, yeah, there is no better guys than what we've got on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network. Why? These are the guys that win the $100,000 tournaments, the $300,000 tournaments, the million. I think we've got 8 millionaire winners already hanging out with us from the Fantasy Sports Radio Network and Roto World. I mean, I can't tell you guys. It's all about knowledge. Knowledge is power. We say it on this show all the time. Download the Fantasy Sports Radio Network. Take us with you, and let us go ahead and spread some of that knowledge with you. Make it rain morning after, weekdays, beginning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Hang out with us. Come and see us because you never know exactly who might show up. All right, Ralph Michaels going to join us here in just a minute. Do want to remind you, again, want to thank our friends at Miami Acura. 855-564-4669. If you talk about getting the right number, guys, whether it be sports investing or it be car shopping, doesn't it make sense to get the right number? And that's what they deliver on, the right number for the car you want, including the all-new 2019 RDX. Telling you guys, don't you dare make a decision without contacting Miami Acura. You can visit them at miamiacura.com. Go shopping. You bring them a number, and I promise you they will beat the number. That's what they do. And it doesn't have to be a new car. It can be a certified pre-owned car, a used vehicle. They've got the best selection anywhere and at the best price. That's what they do. They deliver on numbers. Get the car you want, only get it at a price you never thought possible by visiting the one and only MiamiAcura.com. Visit them today, MiamiAcura.com, guys. That is MiamiAcura.com. Or simply, if you're in the 305, you guys, you can pick up the phone, give them a call, guys. You can do that too. 855-564-4669. That's 855-564-4669. MiamiAcura.com. All right, coming up, we'll get you TrendyBets.com. Free plays coming your way, but first, guys, almost to the end here. We had 16, we had 8, we got 4 left. We've got another 4 in Madison Square Garden, NIT. We got CBI. We got a whole bunch of basketball still to be played, and nobody to talk to better than our good friend Ralph Michaels. WagerTalk.com at CalSportsLV is where you can reach him. And it's been one hell of a tournament here, Ralph. I mean, I've got to say, only one number one left. You got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 5. Can you remember a Final Four being this wide open without at least one team being the clear-cut favorite to win it?
Well, you look at it, and, Virginia's a 5.5-point favorite, which makes you think they should be pretty clear-cut, but then you look at what Auburn's done. I mean, as far as the last few tournaments, there's not many teams that have a resume that can include just getting by New Mexico State and then beating Tennessee, Kansas, North Carolina, and Kentucky. You want to talk about knocking off blue blood after blue blood after blue blood, hats off to Auburn. So, it's no surprise that the teams are here. We talk defense often. Virginia has the number 5 adjusted D. Michigan State has a top 10, and Texas Tech is number 1. And Auburn is a unique team where they don't have a defense that's in the top 10. They have an offense with 11 players deep, now 10 with the injury, that have played multiple minutes. So, no surprise, Power 5 teams, the Cinderellas never made it to the Sweet 16. Defense gets teams there. And, this is a very senior-laden squad. All 4 guys have seniors that lead the way, or at least upperclassmen, and it shows you that a team that has played together for multiple years can knock out these one and dones with Duke and even though they're going to have the top 2 players in the draft and perhaps 3 of the top 5 or 6, playing together for a few years in a stressful environment season after season can get it done.
Yeah, amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun. One of the stats I came across this week, Ralph, was amazing. This is only the 4th time in 35 years that we're not talking in the Final Four about Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, or Kentucky, and that's pretty remarkable when you think about it. 4 times in 34 years. I guess that tells you why we really do love our Blue Bloods.
Yeah, and again, that's exactly who Auburn beat: Kansas, North Carolina, and Kentucky in 3 straight games. So one team took care of that history for us.
I'm wondering, too, we know Calipari came out and now signs a lifetime contract. In college basketball in today, is that just a little ridiculous in this day and age? Lifetime contract for Calipari? I mean, it's not like he's got multiple national titles with 25 number 1 draft picks that he's had over the last 10 years. I mean, is he really? Do you think he's worth that kind of commitment from Kentucky?
Well, I mean, he's been there now, since 2010?
10, yeah.
And you look back at some of his best seasons: 35 wins in 10, 38 wins in 12, 29 and 14, 38 and 15, 32, 26 and 30 the last 3 years. I guess lifetime is just this. You give your coach the ability to say, you're not going anywhere. You give recruits the ability to say, we know we're going to play for them. And, I mean, who's better? Is Izzo going to go to Kentucky? No. Right. I mean, there's only a handful of coaches that are better. None of them are going to leave their current positions to go to Kentucky. So you might as well lock it up and put everyone at ease that it's not going to change. I mean, be it a 5-year or be it a lifetime, when he's done coaching, he'll be done, but he probably would have been there either way. So however they want to call it, that's more power to you. Yep,
that's commitment. That's what we're talking about. Ralph Michaels, WagerTalk.com, at CalSportsLV. We know about the Final Four here that we've got this weekend, but we don't have to wait until this weekend, Ralph. We've got the NIT tonight, Madison Square Garden, a pair of semifinal matchups here: Lipscomb, Wichita State, Texas, TCU. It's this strange thing. We've got low spread totals and monster team totals here as far as the over-under goes. Let's start with Lipscomb, Wichita State. It's a pick-em now. Over-under is 150.5. What do you think of both of these teams?
Well, the total seems a little high to me. Lipscomb is one of those teams where they are going to push the tempo. They are number 14 in terms of tempo. Their back court are a pair of juniors. Their front court has a junior and a senior, and their only freshman playing is a sophomore. And Garrison Matthews leads the way. To me, you're getting a very high-scoring game, a very high-scoring total because of their competition. They went on the road. They played Davidson, Greensboro, and NC State. All of those teams are upper-tempo teams. Wichita State is not that. They're number 144 in terms of tempo. Wichita State has a defense much better than their offense. Their offense is 121 as far as efficiency goes, but their effective field goal percentage, Wichita State, number 314 in the country. That means you're just not getting it done. You're not shooting a high percentage. You're not shooting well from outside the arc. And, I think that both of these teams played all 6 of their NIT games on the road. Now you're playing in a neutral setting. So when you were dictating the tempo, you're now into that Final Four mode, and we'll talk about this more in the other matchup, but you play at Furman, at Clemson, at Indiana. You're playing against, half-empty arenas where they're selling their tickets for $10. You're playing in smaller venues, not small that Indiana's small, but a college arena is not like Madison Square Garden. The sight lines are different. The lighting's different. It's much more cavernous. So I like playing the unders in this. Not that it's an automatic play for me, but, Wichita State's going to slow the pace. If Wichita State gets the lead, it's going to be a lower scoring game. It's a game that I'll watch live, and as long as Lipscomb doesn't get out to an early lead and controls the tempo, I think it'll be a lower scoring game. Add in the Madison Square Garden effect, and under is the way that I would go in that matchup.
The night game there, the late game, 9:30, are two teams that barely missed qualifying for the tournament. TCU, the Horned Frogs, have gone ahead and battled their way into a very familiar position. They won the NIT a couple of years ago, and now you've got Texas, who they're going to be beating. Again, over-under 150.5. This, too, has gone from -1 Texas to Pick'em to -1 TCU. And, now all of a sudden a lot of more money's coming in on TCU at this point, but pretty evenly matched, although you're going to get that argument again, right? It's so hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. TCU's beat Texas twice already this year.
Well, those that follow me on Twitter know there's no truth to that. That's just one of those hearsays. And, Joe, one thing, the total's 137.5 in this game.
Oh, I'm looking at
the
wrong one.
It was 138.5.
Yes.
Yeah, it came down 1 point. It's actually 137.5. And again, it's a situation where I clearly like the under. Between the two games, this is one of my strongest plays. And in fact, if you go to Wager Talk today, do not buy my play because I'm giving it to you here for free. It is on the under. You look at Texas and TCU, unlike Wichita State and Lipscomb, which were a 5 and 6 seed, Texas and TCU were high seeds, and they had all 3 games at home. So you're comfortable at home. Your offense shoots better at home. And now you're also going to Madison Square Garden in that setting. So, playing on the road is one thing, switching to a neutral setting. When all 6 games between Texas and TCU were at home, that makes the dynamics quite a bit different. You look at their matchups this year, it was TCU 69-56 and TCU 65-61. Both games clearly under the total. You have a Texas team that has gone under the total 5 of their last 6 games, and the only over was against the Xavier team that presses the tempo. While TCU had some over games, those were against teams that did have a faster pace, Nebraska and Sam Houston. You have the familiarity. You have teams that are now looking to be in a Final Four. And, the NIT is, once you're there, you're playing at Madison Square Garden. You have the ability to cut down the nets. Yes, it's not the NCAA tournament, but it's a very positive effect. There will be butterflies tonight for both of these teams because it's a different setting. You're playing in front of the nation in a Final Four game. There's only 14 teams left playing basketball. You're one of those. So it's a situation where both defenses, I think, are familiar with the opposition. You have both teams that know they're going to want to slow the pace against a team they're familiar with, and then add in the MSG venue, and under, again, is my top play from both of those NIT games.
TCU, Texas tonight. Under, I'm seeing a couple of 138s out there. Under is what Ralph likes. WagerTalk.com. At Cal Sports LV is where you need to find him. The other tournaments here that still going on, the CIT tournament, the College Insider Tournament. We got a semifinal happening between Hampton and Marshall. And, Ralph, I laugh at this number, but you got a total of 174, 173.5, 174 between two teams. You talk about up-tempo. They love to push it, but that requires an awful lot of scoring. I mean, Marshall is laying 6.5 right now in this game. But, man, that's an awful lot of scoring at 174. I guess you need a lot of things to go right when you have that kind of high total.
Yeah, well, you look at the teams. There's 353 teams in Division I. Texas Southern is number 3 as far as tempo goes. Green Bay is number 12. You look at Texas Southern, what they've done in the postseason. They scored 95 points at New Orleans. They scored 94 points at Texas Rio Grande Valley, and they scored 108 points at Louisiana Monroe. Now, it needs to be noted that the New Orleans game was in overtime, and the UL Monroe game was in 3 overtimes. So I think when people look back, I agree with you, but I couldn't bet the under in this game. I really think I made the total 173 or 174. But even though I'm a few points off, when your total's that high, your percentage is different. It's much different being 3 or 4 points off with a 177 total than me making a number of 116 when the total's 120. 116 is, 3% of the points. When the total's 177, you're only a small fraction. So despite that total being that high, I still lean with the over. The one thing I do have an opinion on is Green Bay. I think at home, Texas Southern, having played all 3 games away from home, including coming off that triple overtime game at UL Monroe, versus Green Bay, who played their first game on the road, but then was home against Bakersfield game 2, and now is home against Texas Southern. So, in that matchup, not gonna give out a total, but again, if I had to bet it, I probably would bet the over. But I do like the Phoenix minus the points.
And these are, both of those games, right? You got Hampton, Marshall, Wisconsin, Green Bay, Texas Southern, both hovering around 174. That's basically it. You're looking at 2 teams that are going to push the envelope as much as they possibly can, and it's kind of hard to bet the under when you're looking at these kinds of tempo teams, which is what's left.
Yeah, I am much more comfortable with the under in that Hampton Marshall game. Marshall is a team that did play faster, but down the stretch they have not nearly played the same. Oh. While we were talking the 90s and the hundreds in the Texas Southern game, you look at Marshall's score 78-73, 83-66. You're talking much lower scores. So the Herd have finished off this season. They've played 3 games at home. The other team has played 4 because they got a bye in this tournament. I have a definite lean with the under in that in the Marshall-Hampton game.
And I know you were on, I believe, South Florida last night as the championship happens there for the CBI tournament. That was in South Florida, kind of like a must-win for them. They had to win there because now they're back at DePaul, who's been a much different team at home than away. Laying a big number here for tomorrow, -5, over under 146.5. You got a feeling one way or the other here with these two?
Yeah, well, the CBI is unique where they have a 3-game final. The one team hosts the opener, and then the other team gets the next 2 games at home. And the home team has now won 10 straight and is 8-1-1 against the spread. And I clearly do like DePaul for tomorrow. You have a situation where USF hasn't played a road game since March the 6th. DePaul only shot 38.5% last night against USF, and they only lost by 2. Well, since February 2nd, they haven't shot under 43% in any other game. So when you have your worst performance on the road, you're tied with a couple seconds left, and you lose by 2, and now you're back at home, a clear situation where I like them. And USF, their last 5 games, they're only shooting 41.3%. And even last night at home, they only shot 42%. Now they're going to go on a road where DePaul has multiple players that can score. They have the best player on the court. I think DePaul wins the next 2 games, in fact, and wins the CBI.
It's funny, too, as we... the Final Four is going to be this weekend. They actually released, I don't know if you saw them, Ralph, they released some of these look-ahead lines. And, even when you look ahead at some of these lines, it's close to a pick-em across the board here. Like if Michigan State advances, Virginia advances, Virginia might just be the clear-cut favorite among everybody that's left, at least according to the look-ahead lines. But it's going to be close no matter who advances to the national championship game.
Yeah, I like Michigan State. I think Michigan State gets it done. And, when you have an elite point guard and you have that type of defense and you have that type of experience, right now, if I had a bet a future, that future would be on Sparty. So I think that Michigan State has enough three-point shooting to get by Texas Tech's defense, and when you have Cassius Winston, the elite point guard that shoots over 40% from three-point land, I think they get it done. The other team will be a battle. I don't know, who I like moving forward in that game, but I actually would make Michigan State a pick against Virginia and probably, 4 or 5 point favorite to Auburn.
What a job that coach at Texas Tech has done. But maybe could they be? I know people are going to look at Auburn, but Auburn won the SEC tournament there, but Texas Tech. I mean, did anybody see Texas Tech being able to have enough athleticism? Defense is great, but did anybody think Texas Tech was going to have enough offense in order to be able to win 6 games in a national championship? Or does defense really have a chance to win a national championship here this year?
Well, you got to remember, Texas Tech's a team that last year went 27-10 and lost in the Elite Eight to the national champion Villanova. So, when your only loss in the tournament in 2 years was to the national champion, you certainly can be there. Now, with losing Keenan Evans like he did, and a couple other players that he did. Jarrett Culver as a sophomore just turned into a superstar, and that's the difference. So while people didn't expect them to be there because they didn't know Jarrett Culver as a sophomore would turn into, I have him rated as my #1 college basketball player in the country this year. Anytime you have the #1 defense. And again, you have to remember this. We know there's a value between 2 and 3. We know there's a value between 3 and 4. You're one off. But when you're the #1 defense, you can be so good statistically that you could be 2, 3, or 4 notches above #2, but it doesn't show you that on paper. You could actually be a -4 or a 5, where, you could be a six spot difference. But since you're #1, sometimes people don't remember that a #1 ranking can mean you're exponentially better than #2 instead of just slightly better. And that's the type of team they've been. When you have a #2 effective field goal percentage and you turn the ball over, you are top 20 in blocks. You have a top 10 defense, both 2 and 3 pointers. You have, you have people where, they're not big. You look at Texas Tech and people think you have to have these huge players to play good defense, and you have to be long with 6'5" and 6'6" guards like Florida State has. But Texas Tech has 4 players 6'6" or less, and then Tariq Owens, who's 6'10", and their backups are 6'5" and 6'8". You watch them play, and they're incredible at how they play, but it's just they follow a system. They follow what Chris Beard has done for him. This is 3 years, and what do? He goes to Arkansas Little Rock his first year as a coach, goes 30-5. Then he signs for UNLV for, I think, a day, and Texas Tech steals him away from UNLV. So I hear that out here every day. Oh, my gosh, what if we had Chris Beard? Well, if you're going to go to Texas Tech and go 18-14 your first year, and then 27-10 and get to the Elite Eight, and then 30-6 and get to the finals, the only step you're going is to anywhere you want. If you want to go to Kansas, if he's going to leave, you can go. If you want to go to Kentucky, if Calipari's leave, he's going to go. So, there's only one way for Chris Beard, and I don't think you can look at a better coaching resume over the last 4 years than what he's done because of what he did in one program 1 year, and then the improvement from the second to the third year with the Red Raiders.
Proof is in the pudding, guys. You can't fake the numbers, and the number is there. And it seems UCLA is calling everyone these days. Why not him? We'll see how that works. Ralph Michaels, WagerTalk.com. Guys, do yourself a favor. Make sure you're tailing him on Twitter at CalSportsLV. Make sure you head over to WagerTalk.com as we get a little closer to the Final Four. Of course, national championship. Ralph is the guy that you want to lean on. You guys want to utilize his T, his A, his trends, his angles, and all the great information at wagertalk.com. So, Ralph, appreciate your time, my friend. Enjoy the games tonight. Enjoy the Final Four. And then hopefully we'll talk about a champion here come next week and try to figure it all out. But thank you so much for your time, my friend. We appreciate everything you brought to the table for us.
Thanks, Joe. Always a pleasure. Everyone enjoy the last couple days of college hoops, and hey, college football right around the corner.
Amen. Ralph Michaels, wagertalk.com. Thanks, Ralph. Awesome stuff, Ralph Michaels, wagertalk.com, one of our favorites here on the show. And again, his wealth of knowledge in college hoops this year has made it a very, very profitable year for me, and I know for many of you. The guy is just a wealth of information, and Ralph is, as well as all the guys at Wager Talk for that matter. That is what being a handicapper is all about. That is what, when you utilize services, and for some reason, well, I know why, but sometimes this word tout gets smacked around here as if it's the Antichrist here, and it's just everything that Ralph has brought to this table on this show has been nothing but the truth, has been delivered the right way, has been, nobody spends more time than Ralph Michaels digging into the numbers, getting the analytics, and putting it all together. And the whole point of using services like guys like Ralph Michaels and Wager Talk and the countless other guys that we've had here that we've brought on the show, it's simply because I don't have the time to dig in like that. Do you guys? Because I'm pretty sure most of you have a life. Most of you guys have a girl. Well, maybe not. But so you got a wife, a girlfriend, you got a boyfriend, whatever it may be. You don't have the necessary hours to dive into it. But you know what? You don't mind winning some money. You don't mind the action. So why risk losing money and making bad sports investments when you can utilize some real pros who are doing the work for you and pointing you in the right direction? It is no different than getting a stockbroker to help you with the stock market that you don't have countless hours to dive into. Everyone wants to be a day trader until they actually do it, and then they lose their ass, and all of a sudden now they don't want to be a day trader anymore. I've seen that happen here countless times too. Everyone wants to be a handicapper until they realize that they've got a life and they don't have the time to put in the effort. They don't have the effort, they don't have the time, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have an understanding of how the system works or how the markets work in order to profit from it. They get frustrated, and then, of course, they just give everyone the finger. Everyone else is an asshole. Nobody knows what they're doing. And it's just it's not fair. But Ralph, the guys at Wager Talk, the guys at trendybets.com, these are guys that are dedicated to making you a profit, dedicated to the markets, dedicated to sports investing, and that is why, of course, we set this whole show up, and we've been doing this now for months, bringing you these guys, giving them a platform for you guys to get to know them, to hear them, maybe pull out some information here. Hopefully, knowledge is power. Hopefully, pull out some information that you might not have thought about, and you go, you know what? I never thought of that. That's pretty good stuff, and that is what this has always been about. It's what it will continue to be about, introducing you guys to some of the best in the business. And I just want to get that out of the way. If one more person tells me how ridiculous it is, these touts, they're this thing, not everyone is Vegas Dave. Okay, not everyone is a scumbag. There are out there, no doubt. There's a lot of scumbags. Okay, I know accountants that are scumbags. I know attorneys that are scumbags. All right, doesn't mean you don't brush it with one stroke here. You don't paint everybody the same way. And really, this show has been dedicated to help give these guys, the real guys, the guys putting in the time and the effort, give them a platform and a voice for you guys to get to know them. And best of luck to you. I mean, best of luck to them, best of luck to you. I've utilized all this information over the months. I am a better handicapper for it. I've been a hell of a lot more profitable than I have been in years past. Why? Knowledge is power. And when you surround yourself with the right people and you're not the smartest dude in the room, and we say this too, right, guys? If you're the smartest guy in a room, go find another room, especially when it comes to sports investing, because you ain't going to make it, all right? You are not going to make it. There's no magic pill here, all right? There is no secret formula to get you to be profitable in the sports investing market, because it is a market like anything else. But if you understand percentages, if you understand statistics a little bit, you ain't got to be a math major, but if you understand and have a foundation of how it all works, and then you kind of utilize the analytics and the information that are being put together with guys at, Ralph Michaels and Wager Talk and the guys at Trendy Bets, that's how you profit. And that's what it is all about. So I can't thank Ralph enough for coming on the show all year long and just helping us all be a little smarter, being a little more profitable, being a little better at our sports handicapping. So great stuff there. But the knowledge doesn't stop, all right? It doesn't stop because March Madness is going away. And I've been telling you about another one of our favorite folks here, right? Jay, the Sports Keg CEO. Tonight, we've been telling you about these keg casts, have we not? Look at that number right there, 83.6 units. All right, 83.6 units. That is what these lunatics at the KegCast have done through 38 episodes, just about 2 months of live interactive episodes on the show, live wagering, collectively 83.6 units. That is what they are good. Now, if you don't know what a KegCast is, it's very simple. The first thing you do is you follow the Sports Keg CEO there on Twitter, all right? That's the first thing you do. Then what you do is you join him tonight at 7 o'clock, and not only Jay, but a whole bunch of other handicappers, like-minded handicappers just like you from around the country. What are they doing? They are live in-game wagering. It is a giant, degenerate think tank filled with some really smart guys that have created an opportunity for guys like you and me to hop on in there, no cost, no nothing. You just go on there, and it's very interactive where they bounce ideas, they bounce plays. Hey, what do you think I'm going to do here? What about this? And then collectively, they put their heads together, and they come up with the best live in-game wagering plays, and they are to the tune of plus $83 units. All right, guys? That is absurd. That is absolutely absurd. And all you have to do is just make the effort to log on to YouTube and check it out for a little while, especially if you've never had an opportunity to do any live in-game wagering. This is where you're going to go. This is information at its best, okay? These are a whole bunch of dudes, guys and girls, just like you and I, looking to be a little smarter, looking to be a little more profitable, and that is how you do it, by being surrounded by other like-minded professionals, guys that are doing the grind, putting in the work, and trying to make a few extra bucks and trying to beat the sports book. So my suggestion, get to the Sports Keg, all right? Go at the Sports Keg CEO, get him on Twitter, tail him, join that show. The links are right there. Join them tonight, 7 o'clock. I know I'm going to hop on there because I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to be doing with this TCU ticket that I'm holding tonight against Texas. I'm going to be on there, and I'm probably going to be dropping a couple of live in-game plays as well. So I hope you'll join me there, and I hope you'll help us all become a little more profitable tonight, doing a little in-game wagering. And I want to thank Jay and, of course, all the guys that joined the Sports Keg for another edition of KegCast, episode number 38, coming your way tonight, 7 p.m. on YouTube. Make sure that you guys get there. Also, if you haven't done so, make sure you guys get to YAHOO. None of this makes a damn bit of difference, by the way, if you're not getting the right number. And how do you get the right number? You got to have multiple books. You got to have multiple options to be able to get the right number. And how do you do that? You got to have an offshore you can count on. And I'm telling you right now, guys, been telling you about YAHOO for a while, and I know a bunch of you have heeded my recommendation here, and you guys are finding the same thing I did. Customer service off the charts, amazing. The ease, the ability to be able to put money in and pull money out is about as easy as it gets of any offshore company. And believe me, I'm with everyone. I got an account pretty much everywhere because that's what shopping is all about. But these guys, very, very, very competitive. Some of the best pricing and lines in the market right now. You'll find them at UWager, but you just got to open an account. You got to have the ability to be able to make the play. You don't have to fund it with $1 million, guys. You just got to fund it and forget the 50%. They're going to put in 100% right now if you call them 1-800-UWager. That's 1-800-UWager. Give them the code JRS50 and they will double it. They will give you a 100% deposit match bonus. So you put in 100, they'll match it 100. You put in 50, they'll match it 50. Okay? It is that simple. Do it, guys. Start betting numbers, not teams. All right? If you haven't done it to this particular point, you got to have options. Don't get caught by the hook. Don't get all bent out of shape when you lose by half a point here tonight or tomorrow over the weekend. Do yourself a favor. All right, give yourself the opportunity to get the right number. 1-800-UWager. Give them the code JRS50. They will go ahead and drop a 50% deposit match bonus in your account. All right, the knowledge doesn't stop there. We've got our friends from TrendyBets.com. They got a few plays for you guys here tonight that we are going to pass along like we have all season long. And we encourage you guys, TrendyBets.com. You want to talk about grinders, guys that put in the work. If you've been tailing this show, then you know all about Trendy Bets. They have delivered over 60% winners on their free plays in the NBA all year long. Every Monday through Friday, a free NBA play would come your way, and you guys have made bank. And not only you, but their clients have made serious bank in the NBA. They've also now, since March Madness, been passing us over their college plays and now their baseball plays, which are already up. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're already up, I think, $400 worth of plays thus far through the first week. This is what we're talking about. These guys, grinders, putting in the time, putting in the effort, putting in the systems, and oh yeah, you can't fudge the numbers. You can't, the numbers don't lie. I encourage you to get over to TrendyBets.com, check out what I am saying. You got it all documented, transparency. It's all right there for you guys to see. Some great guys that deliver. And when you deliver on a consistent basis, that's why we want to know you. That's why we want to be around guys like this putting in the work. And tonight, they put in the work, and I love to see this. Texas at TCU, they're laying the 1.5. This has been bouncing back and forth, 1.5 to 2, by the way. But they like the spread here, man. -1.5 if you can find it, which, again, is why it's important to be able to shop. I see it at 2 at some books. I see it at 1.5 at others. The over, the total is 138. Now, Ralph Michaels told you he likes the under. Trendy Bets is telling you they like TCU 1.5. That happens to be the bet that I have as well. So, knowledge is power here, guys, okay? 1.5. Lay the 1.5 right there. You see it. TrendyBets.com believes that, like I believe, the Longhorns 1-5 against the number in the last 6 meetings. I do believe TCU. There are just some teams that have the number. And don't forget, Texas, I believe, is still without their lead guard, even though they've won a few games in this tournament without him. I don't think it gets any easier. I think TCU won this tournament in 2017. TCU, their record against the number at neutral site locations has been 17 out of 24 they've actually covered. So I like TCU in this situation. So does Trendy Bets. So there you go. Ralph likes the under in that situation. I think there's a lot of ways to be able to profit on this game here tonight. The other game that they like in the NBA, let's take a look at it. Rockets, Kings, Houston laying 5, over under 227. Here's what we know from Trendy Bets. The under, 6-1 in the Rockets' last 7 road games. The under, 7-1 in the Rockets' last 8 games, following a straight-up win of more than 10 points. The under is 8-3 in the Kings' last 11 home games. The under is also 5-1 in the last 6 meetings between these two teams. The Rockets have kicked it up a notch. They still have an opportunity to get a number 2 seed. They're playing some defense. It's not nearly a free-for-all. So the under 227 tonight is what our friends at TrendyBets.com like. Rockets Kings under 227. Go ahead, get that going. These guys have delivered all year long when it comes to the NBA. All right, and make sure plenty of NBA left. Make sure you head to TrendyBets.com. Any one of their NBA premium packages. How does 50% off sound? It's very, very simple, okay? Very simple at Trendy Bets to be able to go get yourself 50% off. How do you do it? It's quite simple. You just use the code NBA50. NBA50, you get 50% off any one of their NBA packages. And finally, Major League Baseball. They delivered again for us this week. Let's see who they like tonight. They're going Brewers-Reds. This game is in about an hour, I believe, 6:40 here tonight. This is a good opportunity for you guys to get in this. Brewers-Reds, Milwaukee is hovering around minus 105. The total is 9. The guys at Trendy Bets love the Brewers on the money line, laying the 105. Brewers 8-2 in the last 10 road games. They're also 6-1 in Chasean's last 7 starts. He's on the mound. He seems to be their go-to guy. The Reds 2-7 in their last 9 home games. Reds have struggled here a little bit in scoring some points, but the Reds are also 0-4 in Dil Sclafani's last 4 starts. He's going to go on the mound for them, and that is never a good thing for the Cincinnati Reds. I think the Brewers have won 3 straight. They've won 3 straight tight games, and I happen to be with you. I don't expect the winning to stop here tonight with Milwaukee. The Brewers shut down bullpen. They are great in close games. It's what makes the Milwaukee Brewers such a interesting and, I should say, appetizing pick. Chasean is now his second start. His first came opening day at St. Louis, where he picked up the win, allowing only 3 runs. And we told you Anthony DeSclafani has allowed 4 runs in each of his last 3 starts against the Brewers last season. I tend to think that the Brewers as well will go ahead and take care of business here. But I definitely encourage you guys, make sure you head over to TrendyBets.com. Check these guys out. Check out their NBA packages. Make sure you're tailing them on Twitter. Plenty of opportunities for you guys to profit with our good friends at TrendyBets.com. All right, that about does it here, guys. You've got our plays, and I want to encourage you once again to join us tonight, 7 o'clock on YouTube. Head over to KegCast number 38. That's right, KegCast number 38 tonight. You see it? Make sure you're tailing the Sports Keg. Join us. I'll be doing a little live in-game wagering with them tonight. I hope you'll come by. Up 83 units so far in 2 months on these shows. It doesn't get any better. It's free, guys. All you got to do is hop in front of your computer, grab your phone, go to YouTube, and just search the Sports Keg. Boom, right there. Join us tonight, 7 o'clock, as we start to make it a damn profitable week here. A great ending to college basketball season. We're going to make some money tonight. Hopefully, you'll join us. Hopefully, you will take all the advice and the plays that were sent your way here today from Ralph Michaels, Trendy Bets, and, of course, tonight with our friends at the Keg, the Sports Keg. I hope you make it a very profitable Tuesday night. And I know I'm certainly hoping as well. I got TCU tonight laying the 1, and I've got them as the final leg in 2 14 parlays. So a lot at stake tonight for TCU. I'm going to make a couple of in-game wagers tonight just to maybe hedge myself depending on how the game goes. Maybe throw in a second half wager. Bottom line is, we are going to cash tickets tonight, and I hope you guys will come by and join us and do the same. Join us, Fantasy Sports Radio Network. We'll make it rain, 6 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, the morning after, me and Gabe Morency, we've got you from 9 a.m. till noon. Make sure that you download the app today, and make sure you come back and join us tomorrow as we start to dive in to a little baseball. We're going to start introducing you to some of the best baseball handicappers from around the country. We will do that tomorrow. Just ask that you go ahead, like the page, guys, like the videos, share them with your friends, tell your family. This is all about taking the money from the sports books, being a little more profitable. Knowledge is power. Want to thank Ralph Michaels, the guys at Trendy Bets. Want to thank the Sports Keg, and want to thank you guys most of all for hanging with us and really supporting this show and really just kind of helping us grow to the point where we're able to do this on a consistent basis. So you guys rock. Thank you very much. Let's make it a profitable Tuesday. Good luck. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. It is the Joe Raineri Show. We'll see you at the KegCast tonight. Have a good night, guys. Good luck.